that took way too long to flippin' restart the game and just everything. But the crashing is back at it again. But yeah, we are now into Q2. Um, I don't know who went through and who didn't. I don't remember. These drivers' names. Sorry, but yeah, Ted at least has gone through, and he's the first one to do on a no. Hype is actually the first one to do a lap to 27.4 the first sector. Why is he going to the onboard camera? But yeah, Pin, and the sector 2 is gonna be a 105.081. Ted is the next one to do sector 2 time lap, and it's gonna be almost the same as Hybe, but he just goes that tad bit faster. Lewis to be the next one. Yellow flags because one of the Alphamers is letting through. Lewis 8 tenths slower than both of them, but Hype is gonna be the first one to finish. Actually not. Actually he goes into the pits. Is Ted gonna be the first one? I think he is. And it's gonna be a lap time of 1:38.277. Next one is gonna be probably Lewis, and this time he's gonna be into 1:39.448. Then behind him, it's an Alfa who's starting a lap. Then behind him, it's Lamas who has completed his time to go into P2. High has messed up his time to go P5 140 into 145s. Matt goes P3 with 138.701. Then Jovi 140.1. Valkyrie 140.6. P6 and P5. Then behind them there is an AlphaTauri who's starting. No, he finished his lap, but he invalidated it. Then there's Jogger who spun out of the last corner. There is George who is finishing his lap going P5 139.9. Holt's going P4 139.071. And behind them there is a Red Bull pair. First one is going to be Shazza to go P4. Only P4 from him. And Reggie going back to the pits as he invalidated his time. So as of right now for Red Bull, it's not looking good, actually, and it's looking very good for the Williams driver of Ted. Speed has invalidated his time, Graffiti his as well, and no, Jogger I think his. No wait, that's the lap after he spun. But as of right now, I don't think anyone is on a lap, except maybe for High, who is doing like a follow-up lap maybe, but I don't think he will have the. No, he's going back to the pits, but he was improving though, but I don't think that improvement would have been very good. Valkyrie this time, but yeah, like I said, pretty much everyone is on an in-lap besides Hybe. Interesting lights from Gravity. But yeah, pretty much everyone. Valkyrie has stayed out. Is he doing like a? He may do like a long runs, like race runs. That if that made sense. But yeah, Hype is. For the third time I was saying this, he's on a loud lap. As Reggie as well comes out of his pit box and pit lane. Yeah, he probably hopes at least to get like 138.5 maybe, 138.7, or close to his teammate at least. Well, I mean, if he wants to be safe, but he doesn't need to be safe, he can just risk it all for some reason. But Hive has started his own time lap. There's as well speed. What is it showing? There's as well speed, who has come out of the pit lane. But Hive is on a lap, on a flyer, and now going into this turn 7, is he improving his time? I know it. Well, if I remember right, he's actually down on his time, like previous first sector. But it can change. Ooh, the outside wall close, very close. It's gonna into the mini tunnel, you could say. Very vertical with traction in here. Now to the hairpin. And just open their yellow flag. Speed, who's letting past Hype, as Hype improves, if I remember right, 4/10 on his previous time, which he didn't do. He's invalidated. Reggie has started his own time lap, but we will look at Hype. And it will be the 2 last corners, and the time will be, and the position into P6 139.334, puts himself out of Lewis by 1/10, but still about 2.5 tenths behind Holtz. Holtz. I'm just gonna call him Holtz. But Reggie on a flyer, 26.9 was his first sector. Then the yellow flag's going into turn 7, but that's just Hype going slow. 1 minute 4 for 2-2, Reggie's second sector, and it showed that it is his the best second sector right now. Let's go now into the 4 last corners, this little chicane, and now the 2 last corners, not invalidating and anything, and it's a P1 137.508. I talked about him to go like 38.5, like maybe a little safe, but Reggie went into 137s. He took that. He probably took that very personally, and just went for it. There is Speed, who's finishing his own time lap, and it's 139.078. Puts himself P7, just 7/10 thousandths behind Holtz. Lamar's retiring in the pits. There is now Shaza, who has come out of his pit lane, as there are obviously more drivers coming out of the pit pit boxes. So High, who goes P10, 139.516. As now I think George goes P8, 139.8082. There are yellow flags going into turn 5, but those are just zooming cars. Then there are Aston Martins starting their own lap times. Then again yellow flags going into turn 6. Just slow moving Valkyrie. What did he do? George I don't think he was on a time lap. He just finished one, but that was That was very dangerous from him. He just he just tried to flip it. He just he almost like look. It almost looked like he tried to take him out. Well, luckily nothing happened to both of them, but that was very dangerous from Valkyrie. If he does that again, the yellow flags. That's Jovi going slow, letting the Williams pass. But if Valkyrie keeps doing this, I don't. There need to be some consequences for him. As there's Von Lewis, who's letting his own teammate because he invalidated his time. Is the Shaza who's on a lap, but is there anyone besides High? I think he's preparing for his own time lap. Yeah, he's doing another time lap. Is there yellow flags going to turn 20? Several cars there, like 4. Jovi is letting 3 cars through, but then George is going to the... No, he's not actually. He's gonna try to annoy, I think, Valkyrie on his time. So you could say that it's a bit of a karma, but I mean, alright. Jogger, who I don't think he's as their George spins, but I think Jogger improved his time to 1:33.7, which isn't obviously good. It's not like it's really bad time, even though he's in an Aston, it's not the greatest times. The only driver who hasn't done a single lap or completed a single lap is Gravity, but hopefully he can change that. Shaza is not improving. He messed up his time. He's trying to let Gravity through. Let's see if he goes into the pits. There's no fuel indication for him. Now pops up. He goes into the pit lane, so he is done with qualifying because only 10 seconds to Q2. As well, Matt and Speed retiring the pits. Hype, I think he's just starting his own time lap, but there's High, who's not improving. He messed up his time. There's Valkyrie, who is he gonna improve? No, he isn't. He stays P13. Jogger as well not improving, as well as Jovi not improving. Then behind them there is Lewis, who's invalidated his time and he's not improving as well. The only person who can drop Lewis down to P11 or out of top 10 is Gravity. There's as well George, who's not completing his time, invalidated his one. Hype, he's improving his time, but he's safely through. Only two cars are on track, are on the laps. There are Gravity and Hype. Hype, like I said, he's through, but maybe he doesn't know that. But Gravity, he has to set this time above 1:39.448. Can he do it though? He still has fuel. It does look like, and he does have ERS still a bit. As he goes P10, just ahead of Lewis by 15 thousandths. Hype finishes his time, but I don't think he is not improved. He stays P9. But Gravity just making it into Q3. So Reggie P1, Ted P2 in the Williams, and Lamar's P3. This is the top 3 for in Q2. Matt P4, Shaza P5, Holtz P6, Speed P7, George P8, Hype P9 and Gravity just making in by 15 thousandths. Then there is Lewis, High, Jovi, Valkyrie, and Jogger, who is 15th and last in the the second phase of qualifying. Now it's gonna be Q3, so basically all in. But yeah, as I should maybe a bit talk about more about the track. Well, I said 23 corners, but it's very tricky here to set a really good time. Obviously, I like many times I said already, so many corners, the second most corners in a circuit. Then there are many places then you can spin, go wide, just to not make the braking zone, track limit, uh, anything that you can think of, anything. But Ter is the first driver to go out of his pit box. Then behind him there's Gravity. Behind him there is Lamas, and just behind him there is Reggie, as there's Gravity already spun out of turn 3. Then there's Holtz. Then behind him there's Speed. Behind him there's George. Then behind him there's probably gonna be Matt, if Hype doesn't come out of it now. And there's Shaza, who is spun out of the pit box. So the last driver to not go out of this pit box is Hype. Maybe you use most of his tires. We don't know. Maybe he's saving that one time when most of the drivers are not setting their times or are in their pit boxes. I do want the flipping onboard camera. Okay, for the sake of, I think I'm gonna need to lower it more, the audio settings. Just so that it's not as loud, at least for me. But Ted is gonna be the first driver to start his own lap. He hasn't rather his own out lap, but that's not gonna affect his flying lap. As we go into turn 1, very close to the inside curbs, and as well our third corner, now fifth corner, very fast, and on the exit you need to be very close to the wall, as Ted did. Sixth corner is flat, easily. Seventh, you have to brake here, not to do Hamilton or Max Verstappen, like they did in Singapore this year. This ninth corner, I think. Now into the 10th. Here was the famous Singapore sling, that the triple chicane, kinda, but no. But nowadays it's just a medium speed left-hander. But yeah. Now second sector in 1:04.948. Now into the turn. I don't know. I've lost count. But yeah, obviously on the inside curb you can bottom out. There you need to as well go really close to the walls and pretty much everywhere. Now into turn 21 and 2 last corners on the out of the turn 21, really close to the outside wall, and the time is going to be 1:38.142. Improved even more compared to his Q2 time, and even more compared to his Q1 time. Reggie is gonna finish his time just a bit over 1 second ahead of Ted. 1:37.133. George goes P3, Gravity P4, Speed P6 as Holtz finishes his own time 138.6. Lamas, I think, again does a 138.5. Hype comes out of his pit box. Gravity spins. Matt goes P2 137.5. I think he finally um, um, finished his like time, like whole lap. Shazza goes P3 137.749. Hype is the only driver to not to do a lap, and I think he has done the same way that I predicted. That now everyone has done their times, and everyone is going into the pit lane this lap, so that then on his flying lap there's going to be absolutely no one ahead of him. As there's a McLaren spun, that is a George. That's George who has spun going to the mini bridge. So yeah, drivers going in to pit lane. Yeah, obviously you want to have as minimal as the lowest possible amount of fuel as you can, since it's Q3, and make it all in into Q3. As I think that was George who almost spun. That's a nice save, I must say, but Hype is gonna start his own time, and like I said, there's absolutely no one ahead of him, so clean air all the way, and he doesn't have to worry in any sort of percent about cars ahead of him. There's only one car right now on track. As he invalidates his time going into the turn 5, on the entry of turn 5, that's kinda easy to just go a bit wide on the entry and invalidate your whole lap. As this was probably Hype's only possible chance to do a lap, and he ruined it. By invalidating it, and if he has enough fuel and just I don't know, just enough fuel, he could do again like a follow up lap. As George leaves the session, maybe game glitched or something. I don't know. Maybe internet disconnected. We will. That will probably stay in mystery for us. Yeah, let's see what Hype does, since there's no one out on track. Is he gonna do a follow-up lap, or is he gonna go into the pit? He's going into the pit. So yeah, now there's gonna be like a minute. Was there actually not a minute? Only a few seconds. As there's already speed going out on track. So that's perfect for us. As George comes back to the session. And as of right now, Speed is the only driver to be out on track. Yeah. I just run down to the standings. So yeah, Reggie 137.1, 4/10 ahead of Matt, and about I think 6/10 ahead of his own teammate. Ted P4 still amazing us in his Williams. Lamar's P5, Holtz P6, George P7. These three drivers very close between each other, only 2/10 between them, and even more closer between Holtz and George, as there's only half a tenth between them. Gravity 6 tenths behind George, and Speed 6 tenths behind Gravity. Um, as there are more drivers coming out of the pit lane, um, which obviously there's only 2.5 minutes to the session ending, and here an average lap time lasts about 1 minute 40, 1 minute 42, as we're talking about outlap. But Speed is gonna be the first driver to do a lap, and probably his final flying lap. Um, as there may be Colts who's gonna be interrupting his time. Hopefully he will go away from the racing line. So he goes a bit slow. Hype as well goes out of this pit box. But he needs to rush a bit on the time, because it's 1:30 minutes. 1 minute 20 now. So he needs to get on a rush a bit. But yes, Holtz made way for Speed. Next is George, who needs to make his own way, as he, I think, a bit blocks Speed. Porpoising there. But Speed is, I think, improving. Matt has started his own final lap. But we're gonna go with Speed this final few corners of his lap.